other new players for Port Adelaide as well. We'll go through them a little later. But keep an eye out for Kane Mitchell, wearing the number 37 on the rookie list.
Good start from Jared Redden, who gets an opportunity.
Here's Need. And might get 50. Lucky. But how's that for a start? Jake Need. Port gave up pick 28 for him in the pre-draft trade with GWS. He's small, but he's lively and he's quick.
And he's going to join that club, Dwayne.
Goal with your first kick in the NAB Cup.
He's happy, the young fella, too. Why shouldn't he be? Well done.
Well, it started from the centre. It was a good jump from Jack Redden. Got the ball forward. And then he is little, there's no doubt about that, but he can clearly play. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invested so heavily in him.
Well, he won the medal for the best Division 2 player at the under-18 carnival last year and was All-Australian.
Well, you can see he could read it well. He was just a metre in front of a much more experienced opponent.
Bit overweight last year, but he's trimmed down and looks fantastic as well.
He looks like he's dropped about 10 kilos.
Yeah, well, he probably needed to drop about half of that, and looks fantastic.
Pittard plays on. He's in good form in their trial last week. So was Schultz, by the way. And he'll line up at goal.
Let's hope he can go injury-free this year, Jay Schultz. He's one of the courageous players in the competition, underrated, and if he could play a full season, he'll kick 50 goals.
42 goals from 15 games last year. Broken ribs, had internal bleeding. He's his own worst enemy in a way because he is so hard at it. And normally a very good kick.
Great kick he is. Beautiful kick.
Well, what a start. Doesn't matter who the most important is, whether it's Koshy or I'm not sure he's here. He might be up in Sydney and he'd be watching on Fox Footy and he'd be pretty happy with this. Being a president's easy stuff. You just turn up and away they go. Kick goals and get a new coach, Ken Hinkley. This is great stuff. Good pressure, good intensity from Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it started with Pittard, as you said. He's a player that can have a big season as well and get back on that half-back flank, provide some run, a bit like Ken Hinkley did back in the day.
Well, he was best mates with Jack Viney from all reports, and we're looking forward to the day when they go head-to-head. Two very hard-at-it youngsters. 5 years' time, hopefully they're kings of their trade.
It was Jimmy Webster in the 29 for St Kilda. Another one of their first gamers. They used pick 42 to get him a couple of years ago.
I'm more concerned at what Rouge's doing looking at his legs.
Westhoff. And here's the player I was talking about, the Sandover medalist, Kane Mitchell, with the hair flowing. On their rookie list at the moment. Didn't want to go for goal, back to Westhoff. Sold the dummy. Not 15. Here's Wines. And it's sweet. Good build.
Well, he's got that currency that we talked about, goal sense. He's got lots of talent. And he's thick-set. We'll take a look at what he's got in his armoury from an athletic profile in just a sec. You saw the Saints bloke stop there. He should have known it was not going to be 15 metres and buried him.
Here we go. Average speed, below average, average power, below average speed. But have a look at the endurance right up there in the elite category. And if you could compare him to a player at Nathan Jones at Melbourne, very similar type when he was at the draft cap a few years ago.
And Montagna certainly can join that group. He's going to need to chop out through the middle of the ground, clearly. But we're seeing more and more route. Midfielders resting in the forward line.
Yeah, I think that'll happen more and more in the next couple of years.
Saints are on the board. Only with a behind. They're coming off 26-point victory in game 1 against Adelaide. They haven't started as well in the second of our games this afternoon. Later on, Adelaide and Port Adelaide. Play on, touched. Pittard caught. Did he have pride? Oh, he's given it back. Montagna hands it up, and here he is, Tom Lee. First goal for him in Saints colours.
pretty heavy numbers back behind the footy, so it's a real challenge to make sure our guys play with composure, even though it's the start of a game and it's fairly hectic.
What's the main change we're going to see in the game plan this year, Alan?
Oh, look, hopefully a bit more consistency in all areas, really, particularly team defence, our physical attack on the footy. You know, there were some really good glimpses last year, but wasn't consistent. So really, it's an all-round focus, but to make sure that we're much more consistent from a minute to minute, quarter to quarter, game to game basis.
Any standout players for the pre-season?
Look, most pre-seasons like really most of the guys that have really good athletic quality stand out, but certainly Ollie Wines is a young player who's come in and been incredibly impressive, not only in his running stuff but his footy stuff. So he's been a bit of a standout.
And Alan, Rue was talking about Chad Wingard moments ago, who's about to have this shot at goal. Second season, 19 games last year, but didn't quite hit the levels he'd like to. How's his pre-season been?
He's been really good, Chad. He had an interrupted season last year with his body and injury, so if he gets some luck with his body, he's an enormous talent. He's going to be a really important player for us going forward.
Thanks for that, Alan. When he kicks the goal for you on cue, we'll catch up with you a little later. Thank you to Alan Richardson and the Port Adelaide Football Club for allowing us into their coach's box. And for one to understand, had the players eating out of the palm of his hand within minutes of speaking, Alan Richardson, such as his knowledge of the game.
Yeah, they've certainly got some more quality coaches in that box with him and Ken Hinkley now, and we spoke about Burgess before. They've got the full complement there now, and that's what Port Adelaide have needed, and that's what Port Adelaide hasn't had for a long period of time. They've been a bit under in that department, so hopefully that'll reflect in the scores that they can kick this year.
Back to Travis Boak, the new captain, wearing the new number. Port Adelaide tradition that dates back to when Foss Williams was their coach. Captain wearing number 1. West off to Need. Well done.
I was watching Jake. He was up in the middle and he pushed down pretty hard. He's going to be one of those players, I think, that knows when there's a goal on offer, but good on him. He's also sharing it around, and Jay Schultz may just enjoy him coming to the club.
And he didn't take a half a step there when some players would have backed him back into that pack, the young fella, so good start by him. Not very big though, is he?
This is almost the exact position that
they probably said that about you once upon a time.
They never said that about
64 kilos is in the book.
You were 64 at about the age of 8. You were small but solid. And Schultz is very, very solid when it comes to goal scoring. And Port Adelaide looking very good in this opening half.
Well, he's been really impressive, young Jake Need. He has been under the pump a couple of times, and here's another one of them. Eyes on the ball, knew that there was someone coming, only went half-hearted at the end. Did Farron Ray, didn't follow through and get himself reported. We'll give away a free kick.
Except goal kicking, that was one thing he did actually improve on. And Santo a little overzealous.
Well, of the Saints players, there's no question they'd be thrilled with what they're seeing with Tom Hickey. He's been really competitive in the ruck. He's got good hands. And he's been one of the standouts in a pretty ordinary first half by St Kilda. It was all about Port Adelaide there and a couple of their youngsters.
Well, they were sitting in the rooms as the Saints played in game 1, waiting to pounce Port Adelaide, and they did pounce on their prey. In the opening half of game 2, Port Adelaide and St Kilda, with game 3 a little later on today, Adelaide and Port Adelaide. Half time in game 2, Port Adelaide by 24 points.
Yeah, had a fantastic year, Brad Ebert. Good recruit to get him back from the West Coast Eagles, and did absolutely everything right last year. And he was runner-up to Kane Corns in the best and fairest, but he's been a good pickup, very good pickup.
He's always going to finish on the podium, Ebert. Just a question of what the number was.
Need first steps were very quick there, gave himself space. Ebert didn't want to go for the 9 broadback. That'll do.
This has been a delight to watch. Port Adelaide moving the ball so well. It's been a wild one.
Yeah, this bloke can kick a ball. Matty Broadbent had a fantastic season last year. A breakout season for him, really. It was time for him to stand up, and if he's gone up a notch or two in his fitness, he'll be a very, very good player this year. And he can kick a ball a mile as well. He's a hard-running midfielder, and they really are developing quite a good, strong, young group in their midfield, Port Adelaide.
You mentioned Brad Ebert finishing second in Port Adelaide's best and fairest. He was tied for second with Matthew Broadbent. So they'll be hoping for big 2013s.
The ruck department's been a bit poor the last year or so, Port Adelaide, and they lost Brogan, and they've got Redden, they've got Lobie, they got Renault from Hawthorn, but he's got knee tendonitis. But Redden and Lobie, if they're fitter this year and they can get at least break even in the ruck, this midfield of Port Adelaide's can take the next step pretty quickly.
The #1 ticket holder for Port Adelaide is telling me that Lobie's running has been sensational through the off-season, breaking all sorts of records.
We had a shoulder injury at the start of last year, so really, really held back, and absolutely critical in modern football to get this pre-season right.
Port Adelaide not playing today. Robbie Gray, John Butcher and Dom Cassisi, so not a large number of players out, which has helped them, no doubt. And the Saints playing back-to-back games, a little tired in this 38-degree heat in Game 2. Port Adelaide might find a little tougher against Adelaide in Game 3, playing back-to-back. Ebert to Stewart, and it opens up again from 45. This is a training drill.
Paul Stewart's another one. He's had injuries as well. He's been held back, but he's a real goer, Paul Stewart. He can play back, he can play forward, and very versatile, good build, and he's a player that deserves some luck. And have a look here. Great handball by Ebert. Good finish by Stewart, and they are absolutely pumping St Kilda here at the moment.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Game 3, bro.
Well,
because they're playing the best footy of anybody so far today. St Kilda were quite impressive last time out against the Crows, but they haven't turned up in Game 2.
Yeah, for the record for the Saints, players that did play in Game 1 not playing in Game 2. Terry Malera, Stephen Milne, a couple of their goal kickers. Ben McAvoy, their #1 ruckman as well, not playing. And they did come today without some of their guns. Lenny Hayes, Nick Rebold, Adam Schneider, Sam Fisher not playing today at all. But it's all Port Adelaide right now. Monfries feeds it back in. Stewart to gather on the run. Flicks it up to Wines. Ebert. Plenty of time to spare. And that's all class.
Well, they're on fire here at the moment, Port Adelaide. And just can't stop them, Jared.
Well, possession rate in total, 96 to 49.
Whoa.
It's fairly indicative of what we're seeing with our eyes, but that qualifies it. I just love the way they've had the ball control. Look at this one from a kid. Bang, he pops it out. Demons would have thought long and hard about getting two mates, Viney and Ollie Wise, together. I'm looking forward to the day when they play on each other.
Port Adelaide have 9 and St Kilda have 10. So the future being unveiled with all three clubs. Back of the pack. One of those they hope has a big future. Tom Lee. Centering kick. Justin Kaczynski. The pass was that good. He couldn't do anything but mark it.
Jared, you're talking about the #1 ticket holder at Port Adelaide. Who is it?
Be Michelangelo Rucci, would it? Or
well, it may still be unofficial, but the way he's been spruiking is Dwayne Russell over in Melbourne.
Oh, is he really?
Oh, he's been very bubbly, very buoyant.
You do that to your old teammates, and Ken Hinkley is an old teammate of mine. You've got to pump up your old boys, don't you?
Jumped right back on board.
I noticed Mark Rashido jumped on Nathan Bassett's bandwagon and Norwood on the flag. Kaczynski from directly out, never in doubt.
As many minutes as possible of this group of 24, so yeah, that's still a course for set.
Been pretty impressed with your kicking skills. Just the efficiency just seems to be much better than we've seen for a couple of years.
Yeah, no, we've been pretty pleased with the way the boys have used the footy. They've, you know, based on wherever the opposition defence is, they've taken those opportunities. It's not as though we've had a set plan to go inside or to go wide. It's just based on opposition defence, and it's worked pretty well.
What sort of rise in numbers do you think there's been in the fitness department over the summer?
Look, we've worked hard. There's no doubt about that. You know, certainly our body shape would suggest that. Our run, it's very early though, Real. I mean, we're halfway through a NAB Cup first rounder, so time will tell. And opposition have already played before us in pretty hot conditions. But look, we're pleased. We're happy with where the group are at, but they've worked extremely hard. There's no doubt about it.
Is it fair to say we're going to see a couple of new players in the first round against the Demons? Looks like Ollie Wines looks a certainty, and Jake Mead also has been a star today.
Kaczynski. Montagna put it at his feet though and made it tough for him. Pittard. And this is Lewis Stevenson for Port Adelaide. Traded to Port for pick 88. And now it's Jake. Yeah.
Very easy turn into a cold figure this game, can
We all spoke a little early, Bass.
Amazing. Montagna. This will roll in and he'll stroll in. Well, maybe not. It's Feb 17.
Well, they're tired.
Ahmed Saad goes up. Yeah, couldn't even bend down there. Saad still hoping to pounce and need. Is there two of them out there? Well, he mopped up his own mess and then made another one. Trent Dennis-Lane getting a touch for the Saints. He had a good game one. Seb Ross, kick half smothered, and the siren can't come quickly enough for this very, very tired St Kilda outfit. Hugs the boundary, and that'll be a Port Adelaide ball rolled out without being touched.
Back here, please, David.
Trengove inside the last minute. Ebert. Schultz could sit high here. He goes up and got it.
You can take a hanger, Jay Schultz. One of the better high flyers in the competition.
Good play. That's really good play from Schultz.
Stewart to line up. High five from Jay Schultz. Good internal trial last week. We've talked about how good his season was last year. He's arguably the most important player on the list right now, Port Adelaide. In the dying seconds, Stewart burst the margin out. And for Port Adelaide, it's all about what happens in game 3 now to see if they can join Collingwood as the only other undefeated team so far in this round 1.
Just super impressive, and there'll be a lot of people sitting back at home saying, well, it's great that we're not going to have an easy beat Port Adelaide. A long way to go, clearly, but there's some significant improvements in this group, and hopefully they can maintain the rage and get themselves on the winning list again on a more regular basis.
Got a very good start to the season too, Jared. Very soft draw early on, I think, so I'd be surprised if they jump out the blocks.
50 points the margin right now, biggest margin of any NAB Cup round 1 game so far. Boak, Corns, but the big plus for the Saints is they did have a winning game 1 and they did get through without any injuries, and it's not necessarily all about the NAB Cup.